The Saline Solution presents Naked, the podcast series that pairs it all. Real life experiences, how they were dealt with, and the lessons learned. Facing the person in the mirror always makes us check ourselves, accept our past, and guides us to make the decisions that are best for our peace of mind. Are you naked? Here's your host, Saline Griffith. This podcast is for adults 18 years and over.
Hey y'all, what's up? Yeah, season 4, episode 3 of Naked, the podcast. We're back at it again. And what are we talking about today? Well, a woman scorned. So, on set I have with me today, who am I getting naked with? Simi the Trini. You all know this woman holds no bars when it comes to expressing herself, speaking about her experience, and I am no different. It's just that, I shouldn't say I'm no different. I tend to cower a little bit or pull back a little bit, but yeah, we get naked today. A woman scorned. Simi, what's up, girl?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. I appreciate
Thank you for coming out here, man. We are in Villa de Amaya, out here in the Freeport.
In the bush.
AKA the house in the bush. Yes. Lovely, lovely spot though, huh?
Yeah,
lovely spot for us to really get naked and see it as it is. Now, when I talk about a woman scorned, how the Bible talk about it? Or where did that term come from in the first place? We heard about it before, woman scorned. Was it in the Bible at all? I don't think so. Where did you get that from?
But there is the saying, hell hath no fury, like a woman scorned.
Right.
And that may be from a literary standpoint.
I
I've
think
seen
so.
it appear in movies.
Yeah.
And it's a central theme that you see very often with women as it pertains to relationships.
Yeah.
Because it's not that a woman is being
Specifically.
scorned from getting that job.
Yeah.
No, it's usually man-related.
Yeah, normally the case. Yeah.
And I've had my own experiences over the years, but most recently, and I think this is maybe why you reached out to me.
Yeah.
When I ended up on social media on full blast mode.
Every time she speaks, my paws will raise, because the story alone and the gumption, the guts.
Audacity. The audacity.
Not only the audacity of the man, but the bravery to speak your story, because a lot of women experience very similar things. Because just looking at your following or some of the comments that I will read, you realize a lot of people experience what you do.
Yes.
I find myself reading some of the comments or some of your posts and nodding my head from my own experiences and saying, for me, oftentimes, if I have an encounter with someone or have gone through an experience, oftentimes I will start typing or call up somebody and say, I feel to do so. But I wouldn't, because for me, I look at it as I am giving this person my energy, and I don't want to do that. Truth be told, I have seen your post and I'll be like, but why see me doing this, boy? Because this man feeling important. But then when I read the comments and to recognize that so many women are experiencing this, and not only is it that you're just sharing the story, but you're also giving people some insight into different channels that they could take to rectify certain things like the court system and all of these different things, which is very useful because a lot of women don't know of some of the things that they can do for redress.
I would want to preface what I'm about to say by sharing a bit about who I am.
Right.
I am, contrary to me sharing all of this in the public zone, and I have been for many, many years, a very private person. And if I'm in a relationship and it hasn't worked out well, I don't usually speak about it because they no longer exist.
Right.
The only reason why this became an issue is because I have children.
Children, boy.
In the mix.
Yeah.
And I was telling you a bit of the story on my way here. And it is the nature of the story because, again, I would have left my son's dad untouched, unbothered, had it not been for the fact that the pandemic had financially crippled me.
Yeah.
And this is someone who had, for many years, every time anything financial came up, there was always an excuse. But because I was, at one point, I was the corporate communications officer at the Ministry of Energy, I was handling real estate, I was doing, and I still do, a number of different things.
Yeah.
I've always been able to handle myself financially. When the pandemic came, all of that changed. And the excuses were no longer acceptable. That's the truth of the matter.
Because you're not to live.
Because at this point in time, it is a difference between me saying, okay, you know what, I'm going to be running him down for a few months to get anything at all, versus I get it myself. And here it is, we had a long stretch. And for those of us who are entertainers, so like for me with stand-up comedy, I had absolutely no streams. I had none. Nobody was buying any properties. Nobody was dealing with any events or stand-up comedy. I wasn't hosting or emceeing. I was just sitting down home, hands bound, with 2 children to feed and all of their expenses to be met as usual. Where was he? 2019 December, he had called me to tell me, Ria, I'm going to England. I was like, okay, cool, when? Tomorrow. This is how I got that call. I was told that he's going over to do some training, which will hopefully benefit the kids, blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, cool, no problem. Great. You know, if you do something that betters you and that
they will benefit in the long run.
They will benefit in the long run.
Yeah.
Great. I'm not accustomed to him being financially consistent at this time. I'm used to all of the excuses, whether he was here in Trinidad or not. He goes over to England, and that's when the story started. And I started getting excuses as to why he couldn't help, usual thing, but okay, no problem. Pandemic came and there was a lockdown. He couldn't come back.
Come back home,
He couldn't come back home. But instead of trying to find a way to come back to Trinidad, he instead went to Washington. So he went from Trinidad to England, to Washington, D.C. He came back last year, early last year, that's 2021. And I'm like, okay, great. So he came back, hopefully, you know, well, with this certificate that he got in the United States or England or whatever, he will now get a job and, you know, things are going to change for the better. No. Instead, he drops on me that he's getting married. I was like, okay.
Motherfucker.
No, I don't know. Hold up. Let me be very clear. There's another layer to this thing. I don't have a problem, and I never had a problem with him dating. We were separated for a few years. He could have dated...
Because I thought there was still some sort of a connection there emotionally.
It wasn't a case of an emotional connection, save and except. The woman he was marrying was the reason why we broke up.
No shots.
He was cheating on her with me. And at that time, I mean, the first time that I found out about her, I was breastfeeding Giovanni. This is to tell you how far back it goes. Giovanni, my younger son, is now 11 years old. So we are talking about over a decade ago, picking up a phone at 6 a.m. and seeing this young lady messaging and sending him, good morning, hope you have a really great day, love you lots, kisses, heart, emoji, and me confronting and me being gaslit and being told it's all a figment of my imagination. And I'm like, but I'm not imagining this. And I'm seeing the behavior changes, which at the time, he was very stereotypical because we were young. We were in our early 20s at this time. So here it is. I had everything that went along with the territory, the phone being turned upside down. And his timeline completely changing. And I went from having a supportive partner, because I would be honest about it, he was a supportive, helpful partner at one point.
So you see, then you notice the difference in the behavior when something new enters this space.
That's correct.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I mean, my most recent experience, though the relationship was only 4 months, you told me that you want this long term. You want this. I didn't come looking for you. I was good. I was good in this. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Because for me, it's like, I wasn't looking. I actually, just before the end of the year, at the end of 2021, I said, okay, God, the people that are around me in terms of the men who are coming to me, it's casual. I'm done with the casual intimacy. I want a partner. I'm in my 40s. I want to settle down. So I said, Celine, you'll have to bite the bullet and take it easy. There was one person I was seeing, it was consistent, but it wasn't any sort of a commitment. So I said, well, all right, I will still stay there because I find it's cool. I meet up on this dude. You say, you really want the relationship. This is what you want. I say, you're sure? Because I'm good, I was very cautious because I am a very trusting person. Very, very trusting. And I tend to go all in. For anybody that I care for, I go all in. And yet, you decide after 4 months. When I saw the I saw the change in behavior. So I asked the question. Because that's one thing I recognized that I needed to do differently from what I had been in before. I would just see things unfolding and not say anything. Because I had that whole teen plus of years, well, a decade plus of that same experience that you're talking about with my kid's dad.
Yeah. The behavior is so obvious when it changes.
You feel as though you're going mad. You feel as though you are responsible for what you're going through.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's your fault.
Well, and I had one of those moments. I'm talking about 26-year-old me. I just celebrated my 38th birthday yesterday. Thank you. And I'm talking about 26-year-old me. This is when I would have started having children.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about 20s, early 20s, mid-20s me. In this situation with 20-year-old him, in his 20s as well. And the behavior changes that would have accompanied him with this woman. And I even called her because at a time she messaged him, it was nighttime, and he went to use the bathroom. And I was playing telephone archaeologist because that's just, something wrong. So I was just like, well, something ain't feeling right, and why this phone upside down?
You really do feel it in your gut.
Yeah, and I checked the phone and I saw the message, I miss your sex. And I'm like, this is very clear enough, as in, it's a very clear text.
Yeah.
So I called her back immediately. And I called and I was like, I'm not going to call her name, but I said, hey, we live together. We have 2 children. We've been together. It's going on 7 years. Why are you doing this? Well, that's my friend. And if I have a friendship with him, that is not your business. And if you have a problem with it, you need to take it up with him. So I took it up with him. And we fought badly.
Physically?
Not physically. No.
Oh.
That argument became one of... Now, I think that she did this deliberately. Because the wording of, I miss your sex is very intentional.
Yeah. So is it that she knew that you, so she had an inclination that you may have been, seen the message.
Correct. So at this point in time, she wants me to know that she's with him. She wants this to be happening. And some of the things that she would have said in that conversation would have led to, like I said, here we are. The relationship ended in 2018 because of her, thank you very much. I had no problem. We moved on. I've dated since. He's dated since. But to tell me that he's marrying her specifically, I'm like, how do you want my children to be around her? How do you want the children, the one especially, who I was fighting up to breastfeed with a nipple shield from Mama Toto. I don't know if anybody's ever breastfed before and people make it look easy. It really isn't.
It's not
always.
At all. It is not
I
easy.
was there
my God, it is not.
fighting up with a plastic shield, with postpartum depression and a newborn baby, 2 C-sections and a back surgery in the span of a 3-year period. And my body completely changed because, again, 2 C-sections and a back surgery, I gained a lot of weight. From when you first met me to now, I changed. My whole body has changed.
Yeah.
And he would make these comments about my body all the time. All the time. And so here it is, I was dealing with you, chipping away at my self-esteem, making me feel ugly. I have this baby that I did not expect because, again, I was on birth control at the time, and it was rendered ineffective during the back surgery.
Oh.
And we weren't aware.
Okay.
So all of these things that were taking place. And here it is, at the moment when I would have needed my partner and my support the most, he was not present because his mind and his heart and his everything was connected to this person. So now to re-enter her into this situation and say, I'm marrying her, okay.
Yeah.
But how are we going to move forward now? Because I personally don't want her around my children.
Okay, I understand that.
I don't want her around my children.
And even if that had to be the case, it would have had to take some sort of respectful conversation. Him coming to you well in advance to say, this is the situation, this is the person I really want to be with. And I know that we've had a history or whatever, but that didn't happen.
That did not happen. And as a matter of fact, it was quite similar to, I call him the rug puller. This is what I call him. In private circles with my friends, I call my son's dad the rug puller. He has never allowed us to have stability, financial stability, emotional stability. He's not a stable-minded man. So to me, you come back to Trinidad and notice what my wording was. You're coming back, you can't get a job. We're going to start to see stability. No, rug pulling. Okay, here we are now. You are getting married and I have to take that. Okay, cool, no problem. Yeah, I'm also getting married to the woman I cheated on you with, and you had to take that. Oh, and by the way, I also still unemployed, will not be helping financially, and you got to take that too. And then the story started to unfold even and unravel even more, because this is when I started to say, I wasn't a big on questioning him, because he's not a person you can ask and get a direct answer.
Yeah.
So when I started to open my mouth and say, hey, but this has been happening. Why is this happening? And I started to ask, I started getting answers I didn't expect to get. Money.
Why do you think he started to give you those answers?
No,
now?
not from him.
Oh, shit.
Not from him.
Oh.
How did he leave after a year of telling me you have no money? How do you get money to reach to England? England is not cheap.
Right.
Where did you get the plane ticket, the airfare, the accommodation? Where were you? Why did you choose to go to Washington and not to Trinidad? And then the story unfolded. He was over there with her all of this time. But the job that he was last at, he would have gotten a lump sum of money from. And he took the money from that. He went to some of his relatives. He told them he needed some money to help with the children. I never got any money from that.
No.
He pulled that money together and he went from Trinidad to England to the United States. And like I told you, all of that started to unravel. And I was like,
listen to me. You see...
Twilight Zone music.
No,
what?
Oftentimes, when you see you reach to that pinnacle, that plateau of not taking this bullshit anymore, the truth will be revealed. You mightn't like the truth, but it will be revealed. And then there's another phase that you have to now deal with.
Right.
You know?
But again, I still took all of it in silence. Nobody on social media knew anything.
Yeah.
Not my friends. I didn't tell Sean or Renelle or my closest friends who I've had for decades knew nothing. I was just gritting in silence. What I did, I went to a lawyer. Now, this was his first opportunity for him to iron out, okay, well, I am getting married, but I intend to handle the finances for the children up to this amount, and I will be taking them on a weekend or 3 weekends for the month and every Father's Day, and I've been very open.
Right.
I still...
Because you want your children to have a relationship with their dad.
I definitely wanted my children to have a relationship with their father. And up to that point, I had financed it, I had supported it, and I would have still encouraged it.
Yeah.
But then his behavior started changing again, even on his home front, in that in the home that my children would have grown up, that's his parents' home. My children would have grown up knowing their freedom of access to their grandparents and to their aunt and to their cousin. He moved the woman into the house and he was getting into fights with his sister, and apparently there was a big argument between the sister and the wife, and the children were present. And my children were present and witnessed physical altercations that they'd never witnessed before. Because we were together for however long, I would not get into a physical altercation with his sister or in his family spacing in that way. So I started to take note, document everything, because I never did it before. and say, okay, the kids came back. They said they saw this, and this happen. They said that they're uncomfortable with the situation. They're older now. They're not little children.
Right.
I have no reason to disbelieve what they're telling me. So what are we going to be doing? Because I want that if they are going to be coming to you and your wife, that they are going to be treated with the same respect and the same kind of safety that I would have expected extended to them would continue. That did not happen. The children were still free and able to go. So fast forward, it was December of last year. I had no groceries in my household. You know, going into Christmas, that is a painful reality to face.
Don't I know it?
A friend of mine reached out and she said, hey, you know, you're across my mind. I have some groceries I want to just give you.
I'll give you
a little, you just had to have your people. Girl, listen. She said, Pass, I have some grocery stuff for you for the kids for Christmas. And I went and I drove. We were heading up. It was somewhere going up to Arima side. After I collected this hamper of groceries to help me feed my children for the month of December, one of the boys said, hey, can we go and visit Daddy? And I was like, well, I don't have a problem with that. You all can call him and ask him. I gave them my phone, and his sister, their aunt, answered the phone. And she told me that, you didn't know today was the wedding? I said, today was the wedding. Yeah, he left really early this morning. They went to go to organize to get dressed and stuff for the wedding, and I thought you knew. And I was like, no, I had no idea. I had no clue. Now, again, remember I told you, a legal letter was sent, no response. No kind of commitment on paper or verbally was made into how you intend to take care of these children. I tripped. I am not ashamed to say it. I tripped. That was the day I tripped. Because how could I be here accepting a hamper while you are spending money, again, on a fancy wedding after England and Washington? I can't even reach Chaguanas sometimes without counting my pennies. And you are world traveling and having your best life, and you don't have the day-to-day care and management of our children, one of whom is special needs. So you don't have to have that no sleep nights, the sleepless nights, the insomnia. You don't have to get up if a child vomits. You don't have to do anything. And at the very least end of that spectrum, contributing for them to eat and taking them occasionally so that they can have a relationship with you, you are not prepared to do it. And I pulled to the side of the highway and I screamed to the top of my lungs. I felt the same pain you feel when you get a contraction.
Yeah.
It was like I was giving birth in that car.
You see, and what people don't understand, and it's not just people, the partner, what they don't understand is that, because I've had very similar experiences, very, very similar experiences.
Thanks.
And what they don't understand is, like, yeah, you move on with your life. You do what you got to do. But at the end of the day, I still have to show up for my children.
In every possible way.
You still have to be happy. You have to provide. You have to be morally supportive of these children who are going through the same thing with you because they live with you.
Yeah.
And not cuss with these people, mothers, because at the end of the day, to me, sometimes just the scream is that temporary relief. Or sometimes taking the jack out of the trunk of my fucking car 11 o'clock in the night to bust your head is my release. My sisters on the phone had to stop me at night. People don't understand the things that you go through, because at the end of the day, it's more of a, I'm not emotionally attached to you, but I can't believe for some moment I said I love you to you, and I still care for you. I care about your existence because you are the father of my children. And in this most recent experience here, you said to me after 17 years of not being in a relationship, and I told you I was very vulnerable. I'm always very vulnerable. And I said to you, I don't know, I don't know what it's like to be in a relationship anymore because it's been 17 years. I've been fucked over how many times? So I've started to become an angry woman. And I don't like to sound like an angry woman. I don't want to sound like that woman who's be bashing men because I know there are good men out there. I don't want to sound like that woman. But you come, brother man, come and tell me you want this. I know you have to take your time and cut off your loose ends. So I did that. We in a relationship. How come within less than 4 months, I see your behavior changing? I asked the question twice. See so many things that I'm not supposed to see. And in less than 2 months after the breakup, where you had no way of explaining yourself properly, in less than 2 months, you're posting up pictures with you and your new boo. You feel I just come down in that last shower, fucking rain, because at the end of the day, I knew something was up. Female intuition.
Yes, it
People
is.
look at that as our female intuition, as us being nosy, or us being picky, or us just being jealous or having a problem. Let me tell you all something. You see that gut feeling that we have because we know.
Don't ignore that.
Especially when you are so invested in someone.
And it works both ways, because sometimes even for men, I do know some of my male friends, they are observant, and those who are really invested in their wives, they're very aware
of what's going on.
If her personality
Exactly.
changes, you must know. So don't make it seem as though, this is something brand new, because then that's called gaslighting. You're trying to and I find that a lot of relationships, there is that gaslighting element where they're twisting the narrative, and you take something. If I point a finger and I say, I noticed you did this, it comes all the way back. Oh, but you do this and this and this and this. So then you make the problem about me, but we never really make the problem about the problem.
Thank you.
For us to solve the problem.
You. Because that situation, I noticed that I was being criticized a lot. I said, but wait, hold up.
I went from being ice cream to tutu. Just so?
Girl, just fucking so. So I was like, I said, so wait, all of a sudden, you have a problem with this. And that's why I kept asking the question. I said, is there somebody else? That's the first thing I asked. Is there somebody else? No. You started to talk about my financial situation. What the fuck my financial situation had to do with you? So, 60 days it takes for a man to decide what does he want. So what is the problem for any individual to come out and truthfully say what it is what's going on with that? Why it has to be something that you did?
No, it is a manipulation tactic. Like I said, men will not come out outright and show you who they are up front. They need to lure you in. Like a spider's web. They need to pull and attract you into the web. And once you're in the web, I'm going to talk plain facts here from a biological standpoint. When women and men have sex, usually oxytocin and other chemicals are released in our brain as women, bonding hormones that make us feel that need to want to settle down and to have that stability of family, because that's just biologically ingrained in us. Not so much for men. And so you'd find that for men to get sex, for men to get some of their needs met, some men have to become what they term those hunters. They have to go through that pathway of convincing you and giving you what you want so that they could get what they want.
Well, that is true.
But it doesn't mean that they want it for the long term.
They don't want... No, I think brother man want long term, but it wasn't with me, and I get that.
I listened to you. You wanted long term. He would have heard that. And that would have come into
and crafted his thing.
He would have now
that.
Navigated. This is what she wants.
He go get married just so enough,
will,
feeling it coming.
So I will now... If you had told him, I really like cheesecake, give me two. Here's some cheesecake. They take their time to observe what you want.
But it
And they
wasn't
do
even that
listen.
much of a chase, though.
It would not have necessarily needed to be because of what you were looking for on your end. And I'm just saying this not out of a place of
Yeah.
knowing the entirety of the situation,
Yeah.
but from lived experience of observing my own. Now, I'm very careful with what I give. You get a
Trust me. That
little
was a teach. That
crumb.
The last 5 months of my life was my teacher.
Yeah.
Because I'm very, very trusting, very loyal, very naive. And so when somebody says to me, and I know it goes back to the whole daddy issue story, right? When somebody says to you that they want this, because it's been a while since somebody actually, I mean, I was engaged for the last time I was engaged was 17 years ago. That was my last serious relationship. But for somebody to actually come and say that after years of getting into situations where, again, you're going all in, somebody says to me, okay, this is, we gelling, we vibing. And then you give me the impression that you want this, so I go all in. Always, and my friends always say to me, Celine, you're giving too much too soon. But I guess that's just my nature. And I'm like, so why can't I just be me? I learned my lesson,
No, you can't.
I learned my lesson the hard fucking way, because this last encounter for me, it was, okay, yeah, this is definitely it, because I've actually met someone who seemingly was on the same page with me. But I didn't realize it wasn't about me. He didn't want to get married to me. He didn't want a long-term relationship with me. He wants a long-term relationship. And that was his own issues. Because when I think back to his own life, things that he has shared with me, you have abandonment issues, bro. Where's your father? Where's your mother? You don't have that relationship with your family. And so you look for that because you want that long-term connection with someone. But it wasn't me. You want the person that represents that. And whatever it is in me did not represent it fully. You see, now there's like next. Past relationships he's had also lasted a few months, but I didn't get the real reason why. I didn't have full information so that I could make an informed decision. But I just let my emotions lead. Subsequent, I learned emotions and intellect need to work in tandem, because listen, when your mind say to you, things that you've read, other experiences that you've heard of and all of this kind of thing, you must find some sort of a similarity there. And for me, going forward, it's like, nah, griff your car, just go into this thing like fucking Mary Poppins. That's not you. Come on, you had to guard your heart. But I don't want to be that bitch. I don't want to be that bitch. You know how some women just be, see me, like, telling the man, hey, where you going? Oh, you didn't tell me, so.
I'm not like that either. But here's what I will say to you this. And I'm glad that you raised the point, because I have this conversation very often with young friends, cousins even, some of my cousins who are in their 20s. Sometimes as women, we hear, and in your case, it may be a little different because he said he wanted the long-term relationship kind of essence.
And we were making plans.
And you were making plans and stuff towards this long-term effort. But sometimes...
And praying every single morning, Gil. Holding hands and praying every morning up to 2 days before he break up with me.
Yeah.
Praying and saying amen, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So they may have that.
I was convinced.
But in their mind, they really don't want it with you.
Yeah.
And in my case, I was with my son's dad for 7.5 years, and I wanted marriage.
Yeah.
I came from a good Catholic family. Right. I don't mean that in no kind of way.
No, I know. I get you. I get you. This is the next step.
This is the front pew of the church, and my grandfather and my grandmother making sure every Sunday morning we are there, front and center, church every weekend. I came from a good Catholic family, and I am still the only one to have had children out of wedlock. Ooh. I am still the only one who's a single mother. I look at my cousins now with their husbands, and I would have been in this relationship. You want to talk about what he would have promised you and saying prayers 2 days before for the christening for the child who I would have been breastfeeding at the time of the cheating in church.
At the time of the cheating?
Yeah, at the time of the cheating, I was saying, I'm calling a spade a spade. We went to church to christen Gio, and the priest asked him directly, this is the second child that you all have together. Do you have any intention of marrying this woman? Because what is going on with you? Yes, I'm working on it. I was told he did not want to get married to me because I could get you the long list. He wants a nice wedding and a big wedding, and he can't afford that right now. He wanted to stabilize himself financially. He wanted to reach somewhere professionally before we could settle down and get married. And I don't behave myself well enough. That's what it is, because I talk back, apparently. And I do. I am not
we
going to
do.
tell you.
Yes,
I will
we
tell
do.
you as it is. All of these reasons that were given to me over a period of years as to why we could not get married and why we would not reach there. And like I told you again, out of respect, the last dregs remaining of respect that I had, not for the man, but for the man's relationship with his children, I did not say anything publicly. So December came, and they got married, and the contact between him and the kids completely cut off. And simultaneously, I was dealing with a situation now. My family is very small here. My mom passed away in 2017. Yeah. My dad died many years ago. So when you are a single mom, I look at some of my friends who are single moms. They are single moms, yes, but they have mommy and daddy. They have sisters around. I had none of it. I was a single mom in the most single sense of the word. And I had one aunt who lived next to me, and she lived with my grandmom, and both contracted COVID. My aunt died on Christmas Day.
What?
Last year. And she had been a surrogate grandmother and the support system for my family for a very long time. The house that we live in right now is as a result of her forethinking, just to make sure that I have a shelter over my head. This is the woman who was sheltering me and my children and helping us through the pandemic whenever she could. And he would not take them. I had to run him down to take them for Christmas Day itself. They came home from by him after a couple of hours because he had to go. He was in a hurry. He had to go. Children sent back up the road by me. And I let the kids know, well, Auntie passed away in the hospital. And my grandma was still there with COVID. So I reached out to him to let him know, hey, someone needs to take care of my grandmom in the interim, and we need to be making funeral arrangements. There's a lot of runs up and down. It's the end of December. Can you at least take the boys for like a week or so for me to try and get things under wraps? And he said, frankly, no, he was not going to do it. And I said, okay, this is enough. I've had enough here. Financially, I'm not getting the help I need. Physically, I'm not getting the help I need. Let me organize through the court the correct way. Summons 1 sent. He was between Diego Martin and Trin City. The police couldn't get him. They couldn't put a pin on his timing.
Right.
We reached 3 months later to our court date, and I show up to court, and the magistrate asks, and we said, well, the summons has not been delivered because we could not get it to him. He said, okay, I'm going to issue a fresh summons, second summons. A couple months pass, same back and forth. This time, though, it was West End Police, and apparently some of the officers had COVID, and this one wasn't on the desk. And you know how it can be in Trinidad, but I was calling every day. Hi, good day, this is Rio Geese. Let's see how someone's there for. And I was like, on it. It was not delivered. Now, we're talking months passing here. Every dollar coming from my pocket.
Yeah.
I am stretched as thin as humanly possible.
Correct, yeah.
And I got fed up. And I was like, I am having no sleep, insomnia, acid reflux.
We're going to get it
I am sick. I am physically sick. I was so mad, vexed. Here's when I actually decided to go public about it. I called up one of his relatives, and I had sent the kids by her. That is his brother's wife. Just for a couple of days, because I was really close to the brink of tripping completely off. Yeah. And I needed a breather. And she told me, she said, no, this isn't right. Send them by their father. What they're going to do they're going to charge you for abandonment or something. I said, no, it's really not abandonment. I'm not abandoning my children. And so I coordinated efforts with his sister, because all of them know, and we all know what he is and what he's about.
Right.
And they all agree with me that this is a wrong thing that he's doing. You move on, you get married, you cannot just cut off your children.
And be
Unless
like,
you're not present.
It's a whole new life.
You're a whole new man and a whole new life. New phone, who this? No, you can't do that to children. They don't understand.
Yeah.
So I coordinated efforts with the sister and I sent the children up the road when we knew he was home. So he's home with the wife. The children are dropped off. They go in. They're in the house. He is there. From my son's account, right? What are you doing here? That's what they encountered. And from that moment on, he was blue, mad, vexed. He got into arguments with his sister. He wanted to know how this happened here and who gave them the authority. And he buff up his father and tell the father, the children are not supposed to come here unless he approved that the children could come and spend time there. And everybody watching him like, what's going on with him? This man took my two sons, ages 12 and 11, a man who never dropped them, picked them up from central Trinidad to go back home. Like I tell you, I used to make all the runs for him to see them. And he drove to Couva Promenade. Couva Promenade, in front of the Palmberry Panyard, where sometimes they have some sketchy characters. And he dropped my children out by the promenade. Boop!
What?
My sons called me.
What?
And I don't know. In that moment, when I picked my sons up in the nighttime from by outside the Palmberry Panyard by Couva Promenade, 11 and 12 years old respectively, I said, I can't do this anymore. And I went public on social media. And I said, you see, you dropped our sons where? By the way? In the night? I said everything that happened from the day of their birth onward, from the cheating, from the gaslighting, from the lies and the deception and the monetary indiscretions and the financial abuse and the emotional abuse and the attacks on my body and the attacks on my mind, I let loose on social media, where is my following, where my bread and butter comes from. And it was a risk because I could have mashed up my whole brand. I could have mashed up my whole brand that night. I could have mashed up everything that I worked for that he never helped me build. I almost broke it down. But in so doing, when I finished typing that last word and I posted it publicly, I just felt like
a weight lifted off.
And I was finally free from, well, what people go think about me, what people go say, and people would think I couldn't care less anymore. And I put it on social media, and the response was not what I expected either. I got a lot of women who said, I walked this journey too.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, boy.
I walked it before you. My mom walked this journey. My sister in it right now. How these men doing this? Why do they think it is okay? So, he keeps digging a hole deeper and deeper for himself without realizing that no matter what you do, no matter how far you go, you have a responsibility. I do not care to have any relationship with him. And like I said, anyone who knows me, it could be how close an ex I have. Listen, we could have built 10 times in a row, and you could have footage of me with my foot by my ear. He wasn't nothing. Nobody in know that. Nobody don't know my business. The fact that I went public was because It was so bad that I could have broken. It could have broken me, and it didn't. Instead, what it did was it fueled me. Now I don't hold back, and I used to real care, like I thin skin about what would people think. I don't give a fuck what people think.
Yeah.
Because when I have a child come to me and say, Mommy, you're hungry, what's it have to eat? Your opinion is not what is feeding that child. What I do is what is feeding that child. And if I see that me speaking out is helping my mental health, and me having a good mental health and good space of mind allows me to go work and do what I need to put bread on my table, I don't care what people think about me. I care about me and what I think about myself.
Yeah.
I had to reach that place. And now where it comes to that woman scorned dynamic, oh, I've gotten that. I have gotten that. I've had women tell me, well, likewise, just the ones who would support, there will be detractors and the ones who would, oh gosh, you mustn't air your laundry. That's very tacky. That's very disgusting. I would never do my man that. Yeah, never do my man that. Because you were not in the same shoes that I was walking in. I guarantee you, men in this country have killed women for less than what I have gone through with that man.
Yep.
And I ain't reached by his house with a cutlass or a gun. I have only used the one tool that I've always had as a woman.
Social media.
My mouth.
Your mouth, yeah.
One tool.
The thing is, people oftentimes think that when you react, as you said before, nobody knows the details and what led up to that. They just see your reaction.
Yeah.
Because I've been told by a family member too, you always come in and dumping your toxic shit on people. I said, this is my safe space. This is where I need to fucking talk. Because if I don't talk, you all don't know what it is going on inside of me. You don't know what's happening mentally when somebody makes you feel like you're not worthy.
Yeah.
Growing up, you were never really anything. You were just one of the children. I was always one of the children. I had no identity in my household. You understand? And to feel like this man, who's the father, I didn't look for no marriage and shit from you because I see how you treat other women. I see how you treat your own mother.
Oh, that's a big red flag. I wish I saw that.
Listen to me.
Like any young woman
all the love he talking about his queen all now. The way that motherfucker speaks to his mother, I should have known.
Like, was it the same man? What he name?
She's still walking on eggshells around her own son. And when I see that kind of thing happening, I was like, I should have known. I wasn't looking for marriage and all of that. At least for you to have a relationship with your children.
Yes. I wanted the relationship with the children, but because of the promenade incident.
No, that can happen again.
And because of the fight that took place between him and his sister, where he slapped up his sister in front of the kids and stuff.
That's dangerous for them.
No, my son, the older one, he don't really want to go too much.
No, he shouldn't.
So I said, what? My stance is this. I spoke to my lawyer about it, and I said, if the court would allow, let the children have their own lawyer and let them the lawyer represent their interests so that there is some measure of neutrality. Nice. It's not that mommy is going to be encouraging you all, but at the same
poisoning
time...
according to how the people put it.
Because I'm bitan jealous because I really want to continue living.
And you just want to be be dangerous. People don't understand abuse takes on so many different forms.
It is. It does.
That same thing with your body. I had a twin, right? I've always been skinny. I had a twin. My belly stretched beyond its elasticity. This man, the father of my children, up to this day, I mean, we're not together, but I will never forget it. After my C-section, the 6 weeks after, you're now going and have sex, and a man tell me, keep on my clothes, because he don't like how my belly looking. That I carried with me to the rest of my life, because I'm so conscious of my body.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how you could tell me that? It is your children I had.
But
you find that I shouldn't talk. I shouldn't talk. I shouldn't talk about my experience with you. I shouldn't share with anybody how I feel. Because you find that I am a dangerous woman. Because you know why? It making you look like less than. The image or the facade that you created for people out there. When I speak my truth, it's not living up to that. It's not matching. And it's
they
not like I'm
they
trying to
don't
make you
want-
look bad at nobody.
No.
I'm not trying to make you look bad. It's just holding up the mirror to your fucking face.
No, it's not that. You know what it is? It is that we ask for accountability.
That
if you
too.
say you said what you said, say it with your chest, say it proudly. If you said it behind closed doors, then you shouldn't be ashamed when it's brought to your attention outside of closed doors. Because that's the thing. I say, this is my stance now, right? If you are uncomfortable with saying something to me behind closed doors because you're afraid that it will reach into the public domain, then you should hold yourself accountable for what you are about to say to someone else. It is not games we are playing with
Right.
people out here.
Right.
People have feelings, they have
Yeah.
self-esteem issues, they have mental health issues, and sometimes in our own relationships, when we as women hide for these men, who does it benefit?
No one.
No, it
Let
don't
me tell
benefit.
you,
It benefits them,
True, because who gonna hear your story?
but it don't benefit us.
And it's not even about sharing the story. It's about you, as you said, holding them accountable. Because when you talk about the part where you had to keep this all inside, you had to pull aside on the highway. Suppose you decided to crash your car that day
Yeah.
and kill you and your children because there are women
Girl,
who did that.
I
There are
had
people, I
to
should say,
call-
who did that.
I called about 5 friends before I got on to one who was able to come for me. That friend, that brethren, came with me. He took my sons and he carried them for ice cream while I sat down in my car and beat up myself for a good few hours because I couldn't catch myself. It was so bad. And the thing about it is, like I said, it didn't benefit him.
Right.
It didn't benefit me to be living in that hell.
Yeah.
It didn't benefit me.
It's not a nice place to be. And
It's not something I would ever
I
want.
still feel as though I'm there because at the end of the day, and it's not about a woman scorned, and this is why I titled this episode a woman scorned. It's not about a woman being scorned. It's about people sharing their story, their experiences, and not that people tend to say, oh God, you're not the only one to go through a breakup. You're not the only one to go through this shit. Why does it have to be anyone in the first place? Why does it have to have anybody going through this shit? When your chest hurts in your semi, you feel like you want to throw up, but you can't do anything about it because you're studying how it's going to impact the children. My children were with me all the time, just like with you. All the time. Everywhere I go in, I have to carry me to picnic.
Yeah.
Right? And you're being told why you're talking about things in front of the children. So how am I supposed to be? I watched my mother put on this poker face for us. But we know what was going on at home.
Yeah.
So when you reach that teenage years and you realize, why is she not doing anything about it? Why would I want to repeat that in my life? Hell fucking no. So I would open up my mouth. He has 2 other children's mothers, their father, but he's really good friends with them. I don't know what their relationship is like. But when it comes to me, I see his whole demeanor change. You don't want to have nothing to say to me because I opened my mouth.
Yeah.
I held you accountable. The others might say, okay, pass your fucking money. This is what you had to pay for. But even when I asked you for money, it was a problem. And he would never admit for the first 11 years of these children's lives, I had to foot the bill. That's why I'm in the position I'm in financially now. Refinancing loan after loan after loan is not an easy thing to do because who the fuck, where the money coming from? And
I just want to interject. One of our sons is special needs.
And that is
so
a lot of money.
when I do not say it in jest, when I say, hey, I am drowning financially at times.
Yeah.
I am drowning, and I know that some people would always look like, but Simi, you're on a prime time radio show, and you're a stand-up
people
comedian.
feel radio is everything.
And they feel you're a stand-up comedian.
Yes.
And you're making real money out here, girl. You must see. No, every cent that I make goes right back in to funding
Children and
my
car.
family.
Children and car.
Children, transportation, housing.
Yeah.
These are concrete bills. And while a lot of men go off with this impression that the court favors women, favors how? I still have the whole onus of responsibility.
And it's the responsibility of when they're sick,
Yeah.
you got to stay up in the night. And this is what I was saying, because when they did SEA, I had to downsize. I lost my job and I had to downsize. So I was like, you know what? If the kids could stay by you, I'd been asking about that for years. And it was always no, because you don't like your living conditions. You did say that, multiple excuses. But I'm like, if we do it 1 week on, 1 week off, then it could work for both of us. But then there was always no explanation. And then there would be the odd, hey, you had to handle this on your own this month, I didn't have it. We're getting it because you knew that my mom was there. You knew their godfather was there. You knew that I always had people around me. But I said, these people are not the children's parents.
No, they're not.
And so I had to foot the bill. So when it reached to the point where I don't have my income, I had to lose my apartment. That was hard. They don't understand the psychological effects of these things.
And you still have to put on the makeup and go to work.
And go to work like normal.
Hi, good day, welcome everybody.
Thank
and you're
you.
just there. And
how much times on my radio station
already
tears rolled down my face to me.
Yeah.
And I still had to come under air and sound like if I am fucking sunshine.
Ray of
because I had to make my money. Right?
They're not paying you to go, oh God, this man.
Correct is right.
Nobody is paying me to do that.
Correct is right.
Because if they did, I'm just saying, if somebody was willing.
You're making right money.
I was like, what? Right? I was out there. But I don't.
I try to keep it real though. I try to keep it real because I know that these situations are not unique to us.
No, they are not.
But my thing is, that doesn't make it okay for us to have to go through it.
And it's not right, I think, as women, because like I said, there were two sides of things. There were the ones who were supportive, and then there were the ones where you just have to ban your belly, the children will get big. No. You cannot tell me that I must ban my belly because the children will get big.
Yeah, but they will get big, but what about their psychological development?
You do not understand. They will get big, but they will get bigger and hungry because...
Or have issues.
They have mental health issues and they are ongoing.
Things that they couldn't understand that you are experiencing, that they are experiencing. How people think that these children are processing that?
And then for men... Because far more women were making those kind of comments. I had a lot of support from women, and then there's a very small handful of those who...
What about the men?
But this is what I'm saying. The men were eerily silent. And it dawned on me. A lot of these women who are coming forward and saying, I'm living this, I'm experiencing this, I just went through this, my sister's in this. They are currently where I was at. You're hiding what is going on to save the respect that you might have for whatever relationship that man may have within your family. But we harbor and hide a lot of abusers.
Yeah.
A lot of abusive men. While they may not hit us in our faces, they certainly stab us in our backs and they dig out our pockets and our wallets and they empty our wallets and they trample on our spirits.
Self-esteem as well.
And they kick our self-esteem and they go out to work. Hi, I'm George.
Yeah.
Yeah. And everybody's like, George is well respected. He would never, because he's such a pleasant guy.
Even after SEA, when the kids had to move in with him finally, that situation, I was like, God works in mysterious ways because it's like they're getting to build a relationship with their dad because all before that you visiting for 5-10 minutes. Or...
I came to pick up my kids.
Pick up? Oh,
all right, I'll be back.
That.
I'll be back next week.
Exactly that. You pass, everything cool? Or you will call on the phone. It's the same monotonous conversation you're having.
Yeah, everything okay? All good? All
like
alive?
That's the be all and end all.
All right, glad to hear that.
But me now, you spoke about the part with trying to respect them and respect their space. I was there saying, well, maybe it's me. So let me try and pull back. I real beat up on myself, because it's like, he wants, it's good for him to have a relationship with the kids now. It's because he didn't have a father growing up. Or it's because he didn't really have the family. I tried to make so many excuses to understand this dude's behavior.
You must never make excuses for other people's behaviors.
No.
That I listen to me.
And yet with all of this understanding and me saving no opportunity to say to him, oh gosh, thanks, I really appreciate what you're doing because I've been there. I've been there organizing for these two by myself. So I know what it's like. So for you to have to do it on your own now, because I can't get you $1, for you to do it on your own now, I empathize with you. So I say, gosh, I really appreciate it. But that not staying with you at all. You're not hearing these words. All you want to do is stay in the past where, oh, I did so. I said, but I am human. I knew I made mistakes also. So you have a problem with me using my platform to express how I feel. So what would you prefer? For me to burn down your fucking house? Because that's what I feel to do plenty times earlier. But my children live in there now, so I can't do that. And everything is about your house. Don't come here and talk to me how you want. I said, who's speaking to you how they want? It always has to crescendo, because how I react to you is based on you, how you behave with me. So when you see you want to come and ignore me, I'm speaking to you in your head straight ahead, your face straight ahead, like if you know, I am not there. I hate for people to ignore me. And I had to own that.
Yeah.
I don't see that as a problem anymore, because you're growing up and you're feeling like, okay, so they ignore you, so what? No, it's not okay. Don't fucking ignore me when I'm speaking to you, because I would not do you that.
It invalidates
Thank you. So when this man is speaking to me, and when I'm seeing my own son, the fruit of my womb, bringing forth that same behavior, you getting it. It's you getting it, not him. I will correct him, yes, but you will get it. I will call you and tell you, hey, this is exactly why I told you I didn't want this kind of a reception from you. This is why I will come to you and talk about certain things. And watch me, I cuss, I cry, I write email, I beg. Plenty times I type up shit on social media and I delete it for the same things that you were thinking about, that backspace, because I'm like, what about my brand? What about my reputation? I'm going to come across as this bitter woman. Just recently, in that last relationship, I say, this man never posts me. I now catch myself. I say, wait, he never posts me up on social media. I say, so wait, but big and bold, you and your boo looking like you're in the fucking Titanic, watching out into the ocean. But I prayed that morning, and the Holy Spirit led me to that, and I said, didn't I tell you the truth will be revealed? How in less than 2 months you have somebody? So I said, wait, this had to be somebody who was there from before. And certain things that I look at in hindsight, we having sex and you closing your eyes, or, you know, these kinds of things. And I'm like, but wait. I even asked him once, I said, is my body a problem for you? Because I don't understand why you're closing your eyes. He said, what you talking about and all that? I didn't pay attention to that, because for me, you're so love off. You so want this thing to work because you see somebody who's also, in my perception or understanding of what was told to me or what was communicated to me, that you were so into this and you're so vulnerable to. I was like, oh gosh, finally I meet somebody on the same page with me. And people say to me, it's only 4 months. I say, only 4 months? I put my entire life into these 4 months.
Yeah, you put your
I put all my plans for this year into those 4 months, because it's like everything for the rest of this year has to do with him, his little kid, my kids as well, and me.
Because now I'm stronger to move away from it. Like
That's
I can.
what I'm saying.
Oh, you want done? Okay.
So listen, watch
next.
now. This particular scenario, I say, oh, because I cry out to God. I say, oh, you could do me this. We praying every morning. I say, but wait. God knows what he's doing, because I prayed.
That he does.
He said, that is not a man for you.
That's not
But
the
I
one.
needed you to learn how to not be a little ass. Because at the end of the day, you're 45 years old. How you gonna go and just take what somebody tell you, girl?
You understand what you're doing out
Is that so?
You're now learning this ropes and thing.
Well, actually,
Gil,
yes.
but let me tell you my joke. Eh? So I used to tell, this is a joke that I use on whenever I'm doing stand-up comedy, right? And I realize like a lot of my friends are in their late 30s, 40s. Many of us, many divorced. And if they're divorced, they are in the mix.
Tumultuous
they're
relationship.
on the way to divorce.
Right.
They're either on the way to divorce court or exiting it. And a lot of us have children. A lot of us are in these situations. And some of them have never had marriage. Many of them have never really had a long-term relationship that resulted in children. Some of them, different educated, beautiful, brilliant women. And I said, here it is, we have been conditioned from small to look for this Prince Charming to save us from ourselves. Like, just save us and carry us, and, you know, it'll be happily ever after, and we will just have this Mary Poppins existence, and our string band of children will line up and sing on mountains in the background. And it doesn't work out that way. So really and truly, what we need to stop doing is telling younger women and telling women our own age group that we need to find a man for us to feel fulfilled.
Fulfilled.
We need 4 men. And the reason for this...
Wait, just now.
Yeah.
What you mean we need 4 men to be... Look here, don't kill me today.
You need 4.
We need 4.
We're going with the 4-man movement.
Okay.
Because you could never find everything you want in one man.
Correct. But that's how the men thinking too.
That's
then.
it,
They're
yeah.
ready for women.
But that's how they've been thinking. They've been out in these streets all these years.
Yeah.
And they realize, well, if Margaret could cook and Sharon could bull good, right? So then I could get through here and here, and also, you know, we don't live our lives like that because we have that bonding hormone.
We have a moral
the
compass.
oxytocin that keeps us in that mind frame. But no, really and truly, it's unfortunate, but it's true. And I have come to that conclusion that I personally can't see myself, at least not for now. It's not about finances. It's not about inability to love or let my hair down or be feminine or all of the things that Kevin Samuels checked off on a list of things that I am not.
Right.
And therefore I am not.
We don't qualify you.
No, I do not qualify.
We don't qualify.
Hold up just a second. Over 30, plus size, with children, you will stay single forever. And I'm like, well, okay, sign me up, let's go. But what I will never do is put myself back into a position of not being secure within myself. And I will never again let my whole life just fall apart at the hands of one man.
Exactly.
I'm not going to do that again.
Exactly.
I'm not going to do that again for anyone. So I have a policy now when it comes to dating men. And some of them, whether they find are arrogant or they find... The door is right there. And you see it when you come and you can see it when you're going. I have no problem being single. You have to be in my presence. It is an honor and a privilege that I'm extending to you that can change at any time.
And you know, I realized that this is where my mind has to be. I mean, I'm going through my emotions and stuff, and I'm like, oh God, thing, hurry up and done now. Because one minute I'm real good, I'm feeling so empowered and all of this kind of thing, and then I remember something, a little experience. You see, Fridays and Sundays was our days, so it's like, oh my gosh, this hurts. And it really does. And I said, I am not going to shelve it anymore, because it's like, if I'm in the emotion, but I am reaching out to you strip it out.
But make something new happen with those Fridays and Saturdays. You know what I do?
Yeah, for sure.
Let me tell you, all the things that I have learned when I have had no man to be accountable for. I ain't had to talk to nobody and tell him what I'm doing. I have built the entire Simi the Trini brand off of... Well, you can't tell me what to do. He didn't like the fact that I was going on a stage and doing stand-up comedy. He didn't like the fact that I was becoming a public person. He didn't like it. I'm talking about 2017 was the year that my mom died, was the year that I lost my job, it was the year I lost my home, and it was the year that our relationship completely tumbled.
Do you believe that financial stability, because people think that when you're looking for a partner, you have a checklist. I don't believe in the checklist. I go on vibe. I do go on vibe, but the vibe has certain tiers to it, to be honest. I have to be honest with myself for that. For me, yes, financial stability is there, but I ain't looking for no rich man because I'm not rich. If one comes along, hey. If one comes along, then okay, no problem. But I am not going to diss somebody because they're not financially secure.
Okay, so money men have more options always. And it is fun. I mean, let me be real. Whether the money come from corporate or it come from drugs on the street, the money is something that I personally don't really rank it. It's nice to have a money man.
Correct.
But it is not a necessity. And at the same time, the kind of men that we want, the ones that are sensitive, who will listen to you vent, and who will be there for you and will rub your foot and make a little meal and be supportive. Those are very scarce, and most times they come with their own bag of issues. So I just feel like I said,
Last dude was like that.
You're coming with a package, and that's like, I'm so supportive of you, but also I will drain you in this way.
Yeah.
I'm like,
best believe.
I'm going to be drained in this way. Can I accomplish? And the vagrant ones, because we had to admit some of us be dealing some vagrants out
here.
You know that. Don't act like you don't know it. It's true. It's true. The ones who always need a little change, borrow, he ain't working nowhere, but he have all the time in the world to spend time with you. Yeah, quality time. If quality time is your love language, the vagrant men are the best ones to have. He's still in school, finishing up his degree, and
Nah, I could do. I real good with that one. Nah, I could.
You know what? Yeah, but it gives you the best sex. Moving forward. There are so many variations, just like with women.
Yeah.
That finding someone in this wonderful world with billions and billions of personalities.
Yeah.
It is unreasonable for you to think that in a 1.6 million population of Trinidad and Tobago that you will keep finding the right one. And sometimes I tell my friends, look, use the online portals, maybe seek outside, see if there's...
Really?
Yeah, definitely.
I've never been online.
I have a friend who's now married to a man in Baltimore, and she's very happy, and they have 2 children, and this was all off of not Tinder, but some Cupid love finder kind of thing. So I'm just saying, we always tend to stay within our circles because that's what we know and that's what's familiar. And what is unfamiliar is quite likely sometimes what we might get what we want.
But funny enough, this last dude was nowhere close to my radar. This is not somebody that I would normally date. But I was like, you know what, give yourself a chance. Yeah. I just say, you know what, let me give myself a chance.
No, because you know why I say that's the worst ones? Because it means that a lot of internal conversation are happening that he wouldn't be privy to, but you would be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to overlook all of these things that I don't like.
But were you there? Listen to me.
But he's going to treat me good.
I overlooked everything.
And we're going to make it to the long run.
Everything. The things that I know would irritate me with people. I said, okay, Celine, it's a new year. So try to do things differently. And I think this season was just ripe enough for him to get into that space with me. And the lesson in that was for me to really not be so open about certain things, be a little more careful, do your background research. I'm not saying the man bad. I'm not saying that he just wasn't for me. Or as he put it, there are things that he can't do because he has a lot of things to do and it has to happen now.
Okay, good.
I said, Jesus coming tomorrow? I don't know. But apparently there's a rush for him to get married and I wasn't the one.
Okay, cool.
I'm so cool with that.
Thanks.
Because thank you indeed. Because when I look at some of the things in hindsight...
dodged a bullet.
I dodged a bullet. Yeah. I really, really did. And I'm not even saying it because I'm trying to make myself feel better.
No.
When I look at some of the things that I overlooked before, I was like, thank you, God. This is what you were showing me. And
I wouldn't
thank you
even
for the
judge
power
you.
of prayer, God, because, thank you for the power of prayer. I learned my lesson in that scenario, and even my friends would be like, oh, God, is his loss and whatever. I say, you sure? That was me in the earlies, but I said, I know I got the opportunity after 17 years of being in a committed relationship to see who I am. I always thought that, oh God, I wonder if I could get back into letting someone into my space. I've always been so independent. When you're lifting up your own gas tank, you know about that, see me?
Yeah, normal.
Your back hurting you, but you have to do the shit. You have to clean the house. You have to do everything yourself. Because I am not into meeting a man and using him. I'm not into that. I'm not into that. I'm like...
I am currently looking into it as a viable solution. I'm not closed off entirely on it as yet. Just saying, you're on your own with that one.
I love it.
Yeah, true.
Girl, I've been coached. I'm being coached. I say, y'all, but you know, they say, God, you're like flicking Mother Teresa. Everybody problems you want to internalize when you want to coach them and say, yes, but you can't save these people. They will be who they are.
They are who they are. And I always say, is it Maya Angelou, I think was the quote came from? Or it could have been Oprah. I don't know. I watch a lot of motivational shit. But one of them had said, when someone
People
shows
show you
who they are,
them.
the
That's
first
Maya
time,
Angelou.
believe them.
Yeah.
And I take that with me to heart whenever it comes to dating and relationships. So from the time I see, well, this is the direction that you are, this is what you're about, I don't sell myself no dreams.
Yeah, boy.
I don't sell myself no fantasies or illusions.
Looking at potential. What is that?
What?
What name that?
At the very least, you have to be potential. I cannot. I am no longer. I am not willing.
Oh, God, look.
I am not willing to.
Yeah.
I'm not willing to build and grow. Women who never had husbands treat them right. And I saw women, too many generations ahead of me, who reached, because you say you're in your 40s, right? All right. I'm going to do some quick maths for you here. My mom would have died when she was 61, 62, thereabouts, right? I look at it like I'm going to be knocking on 40 just now. And if I make it to my mom's age, that means I have about 20 more years of good life in me, possibly. Asking for more, thank you, Heavenly Father, if I get it.
Yeah.
But on the off chance it don't go down like that, I have 20 years left, thereabouts, to make the most of this life that I have. Do I want to spend 10 of those years trying to build someone else up who is ultimately going to, in some way or form or fashion, tear me down?
Right.
Or do I want to take that and see what is the best possible incarnation and version of myself? How far can Simi go? Can I be Simi De Trini that performs internationally on stages around the world as a stand-up comedian? Or am I going to be limited right here?
Yeah.
Am I going to be able to add my voice to changing the dynamics of the world and trying to change things as I see them? One of the most powerful things that happened to my life happened simultaneous while all of the shit
I can't believe it. I was so
down.
happy when I saw all of this.
No, hold on.
Unfolding.
A lot of people don't see it. You don't see the parallels, but I want to show you the exact timeline. While all of this was going on with my son's dad last year, I was called by the United States Department, the Department of State, for the IREX Community Solutions Program. 8,000 applications came into U.S. embassies around the world. They chose 2 from Trinidad out of 100 people overall who they felt our voices, our actions, we would be the people who could potentially change our communities.
Wow.
And I was going through my classes, and here I am on one side doing IREX Community Solutions Program classes because it's college level credits that you have to do.
Right.
And the training and the program is intense. And I have all of these reports, and I'm on the sideline there dealing with the legal situation for my son's dad and dealing with legal situation for my grandmom's property and dealing with so many different balls that I was juggling. I am more than just someone's potential wife. I am someone who is trying to find a path for myself, trying to leave a legacy that when I die, nobody's going to say, and Rhea Simon Ogis, the wife of...
Right.
Because, they love to do that in stuff. They love to negate every accomplishment we made because we have suddenly, but this is the wife of so-and-so and so. No, I did it my way.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to do it my way. If love finds me along that path, great. If If it doesn't, cool. 4-man movement, here we go. If it happens, it happens. And I don't live my life for love anymore. I live my life giving love. I share love abundantly, not in a sexual manner. I don't want nobody to feel like I'm out here. But I share love with everyone that I come across, and I allow my friends that space and to be able to say how they feel, like how you are expressing how you feel. Like, I know that there are a lot of women who are going through their own journeys.
Yep.
And I always tell them that's because very often, since childhood, this is how we've been programmed.
Yeah.
We need to deprogram ourselves from seeing relationships as a necessary and vital part of who we are. Who we are is so powerful, and we have so much that we can give to this world, and yet they only look at our beauty. And once you start to age out, they don't even think much about what your contributions are. But the reality is there are things that you can do to change the world around you.
Yep.
And you will feel so much satisfied. You go to sleep in the night, you could toss and turn, nobody in horning you. But guess what? I just fed half of a nation.
Yeah.
You can do something so impactful, And I want to live my life like that.
Yeah.
That's how I want to. I choose change and making the world around me in ways that I don't like it, change
that, yeah.
those ways. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, man.
Me and looking for, wait, come on. But you see, what had happened was I happened to go out with a brethren of mine, and I see, and I didn't mean to. I too old for that.
See me.
I go beat man.
See
You
me.
like to drink stag and beat man out in the streets? No.
After this last thing here, I said, I want nobody again. And it wasn't even from me being emotional at that point in time. I was like, how do I, because I've been single for so long, then you give yourself a chance for a relationship, and that didn't work. I was like, okay, I'm all right.
Rolling on a river. Yeah, just once you see you put that in your mindset. If it happens, it happens. Great. If it doesn't, cool.
Yeah.
You good to go.
We are not women scorned. We are just people who are fed up with the bullshit. You can, you open your mouth, because that's our way of releasing what we're feeling. And we really, really have to change this narrative of keeping it hush-hush. We grew up in that era where you had to keep quiet because you don't want to upset or ruffle the waters.
Nobody wants in the village to know that Elroy does beat
what
his
used
wife.
to happen, because she used to get licks.
Yeah.
You would get licks if you open your mouth. But nowadays, we're not doing that anymore. So it's not no hell hath no fury as a woman scorned. We are opening our mouths. We are speaking our truth. And if you don't like it, buddy, well, I'm going to tell you. Deuces. Thanks, y'all, for keeping it locked. And Simi, thank you so much for sharing, and your openness, of course, is always welcome. So I wish you all the best in all of your endeavors.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me again.
I hope that this situation improves positively, significantly.
It will.
And for so many women who have been going through stuff like that, you have a support system. And I just want to say thank you to Villa de Amaya for, of course, lending us this beautiful space to share our thoughts and, build community as well. And to Lance Fashions for outfitting me today.
Perhaps.
Also to Xtocracy for, of course, filming this podcast for us. Thank you so much to Kevin Lee, and, of course, to Jesse and the crew at 5-6 Productions. Thank you for your editing prowess. I truly appreciate each and every one of you for making Naked what it is. Always remember, guys, be a good human. Bye.